Hello and welcome to this brief video tutorial on the Photoshop Elements 8 workspace. First of all, if we go over to the left hand side of the screen, we can see down here the toolbox. This contains easy access to tools that we will use in our enhancements and digital manipulations in future tutorials. If you don't like the position that it's in, you can simply drag it out from the tool bin and put it in any part of the screen that you like. If you prefer it in a slightly different format, you can click on these little triangles here and it squashes itself up with the tools doubled up. I prefer it the other way, and to put it back in its bin you just move it over to the side of the screen where it was and then just drop it there, and there it'll stay in its bin. On the other side of the screen here we have the various different palettes. By default it comes with the effects palette and the layers palette already showing. The layers palette is a very useful one to have up. We have that up pretty well all the time, but the effects palette is something that we don't use very often, so I'm just going to get rid of it for now, and I'm going to do that by just pulling it, dragging it out into the main workspace, click on the little menu item here and just clicking on close. There is one other palette that we use all the time and it's very useful to have up in the layers palette here, and that's the undo history, and we get to that by going to Windows, undo history, and as you can see it's just appeared down here in the palette, and we can just drag it up like that so that we can see both the layers and the undo history, and they're both about the same sort of size. At the bottom of the screen we have the project bin. We can open any number of photographs at any one time to work on in Photoshop, and if we have more than one open, they'll show in the palette in the project bin here. If you want to hide the project bin temporarily to leave a little bit more space in the editing area, you can simply click on the bar here and it collapses down into the bottom, and I'll just get it back again by clicking again. Likewise, the palettes over here, you can make them a little bit smaller by just clicking on the little triangles here, and that collapses them down into a much smaller area, giving you more room to manipulate your photographs. And I'm just going to click again to get them back. At the top of the screen here we have shortcuts to various different parts. The most useful one is the shortcut to save as we go along. It's always a good idea to save our image as we go along, just in case we get a problem with the computer. And then at the top of the screen we have the normal menu items for file, open, close, edit, delete, and then the specific Photoshop Elements menus items about image, rotate for example, transform. We'll come on to all these as we look at various different aspects. The other useful one is enhance here, which gives us access to various different tools for making our images look better. We'll look at these in greater depth in different tutorials. So there it is, a brief overview of the Elements 8 workspace and a little look at how you can get it to set up to work well for you. Okay, see you in the next tutorial.